In this lesson, we'll be looking at the rules or the facts involving parallel lines. And before we start, let's look at what parallel line means. So, parallel lines are the lines which are at equal distance from each other, meaning they will never meet or they will never intersect at one point. So, they will always be at equal distance. Now, generally, when you are given two parallel lines, you'll be given these arrows here, these little arrows on the line. So these little arrows on the line represents that they are parallel lines. Right. So then there is a line. If you draw a line that intersects these two lines at 2 points, we call this as a transversal. So this special line is known as a transversal, which cuts our parallel lines at 2 different points. Now, when the transversal cuts these two parallel lines at different points, different angles are made. So I'm going to name this as 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now there are three angles that we are going to discuss now, which I assume you must have done it last year, so we are going to look at what are those angles called and what are their properties. So the first, to identify those angles, we are going to make use of letters. So first we are going to make a letter F. So in this line, I'm going to make a letter F here. So the corner of the F will make special angles that so let me write F here, but this is an upside down F. So if you look at the corners, I can see the corner F is making angle 1 and angle 5. So they are equal, and there is a special name for that, and we call them as corresponding angles. And the property here for parallel lines is that the corresponding angles are always equal. That's why I wrote angle 1 equals angle 5. So corresponding angles are equal in parallel lines. So this is our first property. So let me write on the top. So the first property is corresponding angles. Now, how many pairs of corresponding angles you can see in parallel lines? So there are actually, because there are 8 angles, so you can see 4 pairs. So let's identify all those pairs. Now we are going to make another F in this, and we can clearly see that this is another F that we can form. So which means angle 4 is equal to angle 8, and these are our angles here. Let's find another F that can be formed, which is the upside down one, which is just a reflection of the first F that we made, and we can see the corner angles are 6 and 2. So which means I can write here angle 2 equals angle 6. Now we just have to find our one more F pair of corresponding angles. So let me make use of this here, and this is another F that we can see, and in this case our angles are 3 and 7. I can see angle 3 equals angle 7. So these are all corresponding angles. So the basic thing that we have to remember here is we have to have a look at our we have to identify a letter F, and the corners of the F will form corresponding angles, and they are all equal in parallel lines. Now the next angles that we are going to look at is alternate angles. So I'm going to draw a parallel line again, and again I will write all the angles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next angle then, or angles that we are going to look at, because they come in pairs, so they are alternate angles. And what letter are we going to use to identify them? We are going to use letter Z or letter Z. So let's identify letter Z here. And so this is our first Z. So again, look at the corners inside one here. So 3 and 6. So they are alternate to each other. So that is why they are called alternate angles. And in parallel lines, these angles are always equal. So our first pair is angle 3 equals angle 6. Let's identify another Z. And in this case is this one here. And this is a reflection of the Z that we drew first. And identify the angles here. So the angles will be 4, angle 4 equals angle 5. Now the other angles that are alternate angles are these ones which are outside of the Z that we formed. That is angle 2 equals angle 7, and the last pair is angle 1 and angle 8, and angle 1 equals angle 8, and they are all equal. So the property of parallel lines says that these alternate angles are equal. Again, I am not giving you the proof of this because we are reviewing the properties that we learned last year. So this is the second property of parallel lines. Now the third one that we are going to look at is called co-interior angles. So let me draw the parallel lines again and a transversal, and let me name all the angles again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now they are called so this is the third parallel line property, and they are called co-interior angles. So the property of co-interior angles are not similar to corresponding and alternate angles. Corresponding and alternate angles were equal, whereas co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. Now how to identify them? For identifying them, we are going to look at letter C. And unlike the ones that we did before, like for corresponding and alternate angles, we had 4 pairs, but in this case we will just have 2 pairs of co-interior angles in parallel lines. So let's make a C here and see what are the 2 angles. So the 2 angles will be 4 and 5. So I can write angle 4 plus angle 5 equals 180 degrees. And let's write the second one that we have, which is again 3 and 6. And we are going to write angle 3 plus angle 6 equals 180 degrees. And the property here is co-interior angles add to 180 degrees, and it will just have 2 pairs. Now in the next lesson, I'm going to make use of some problems or questions, and then we'll find missing angles using parallel lines.